or what is Ella? And why is she dramatically different from the previous trailers? If we can answer this question, we can answer the same for Elliot, because I believe these two characters are intertwined. And if we answer one, we can answer the other. To begin, we need to break down what she means by pulling the roots out in episode 3. After looking into the game a little further and reading the comment section of my last video, I came to the conclusion that when she tells Elliot to pull the weeds out, it's referring to stripping the code from these bullies. And that's why we see them crying and begging for Elliot to stop. I think this makes a lot of sense and shows why the bullies are begging for mercy, but receive none. Ella seems very interesting because in the game trailer we witness a more innocent Ella, who is excited to visit the park and have fun, but eventually gets scared as Elliot is taken over by the virus and begins to glitch on screen. Ella cries out for help, but no one comes to her aid. While in the episode, Ella is a character who instigates the murder of the bullies and puts her hand on Elliot's head, so he understands what he must do. She eventually disappears and isn't seen again, and all we are left with is Elliot looking at his drawing book with an image of him we see in the game trailer. Then Mr. T begins to talk like Charlie Brown's mom and says thank you for pulling those weeds from the garden. We then see a garden with 3 bodies and no weeds in the garden. And I think when Ella is teaching Elliot to pull weeds out, she's actually showing him how to remove code. For instance, he could get rid of the bullies, but they'd reappear again. So we must pull the bullies from the roots of their code. But now that I've discussed why and how, I need to talk about who Ella is. And I think I know. Isn't that right, Mr. Awesome? So I think that the Ella we see in the episode was actually Mr. T using the code of Ella to disguise himself to Elliot, allowing him to manipulate Elliot easier. But that still leaves the question of who is the Ella we see in the game trailer? Well, I know that too. The Ella we see in the game trailer is the real Ella. This time her code isn't being used to disguise Mr. T. Now you could be asking yourself, why is this video not 8 minutes long? Well, blame that stupid British guy for making a 30-minute video discussing the entire ARG of Giggleland, and I don't like repeating other people. Except myself, of course. I think the reason Mr. T can manipulate Ella's code is because she has joined a cult. And once you give yourself to the cult, this allows Mr. T to manipulate your code and change it as he pleases. For instance, we see that Elliot is now corrupted, and Ella is the innocent one this time, showing a big emphasis on Mr. T wanting to control Elliot because of something Elliot possesses. What Elliot possesses is vague, but it could be control of the digital environment or a rogue AI. Because Mascot Horror is supposed to embody what society's fears are, like Poppy Playtime represents corporate greed and malpractice, just like mob games. And Giggleland could represent society's new fear of AI. Something unknown and its limits are something we cannot fully understand yet. And no, FNAF doesn't count. The Mimic sucks. Okay, I know this is a slight tangent, welcome to Icy Gaming, but I think I know the explanation for the inclusion for a random child care author, Eric Erickson, because he outlines a few terrifying sentences that I think refer to a cult. A baby left to cry it out will eventually stop crying, but it won't be because distress has been eliminated, but rather the baby learns that there is no longer any hope. Which, wow, that's dark, and this is a child care book. Right? Obviously, Giggleland seems to be obsessed with his work, and even locked him in a box and said congratulations. But while the quote above seems referring to someone when they enter a cult and realize they can't leave, these next few stages seem to solidify my opinion with stage 1 being protest, loud cries, and extreme restlessness. Then phase 2, despair, monotonous crying, inactivity, gradual withdrawal. And finally, phase 3. Is detachment. Renewed interest, albeit remote. Withdrawn, distant. These seem to be the phases their cult members experience when they leave everything behind and decide to become happy forever, which is likely their goal, as you can see in the park screenshots. But what do you guys think? Am I crazy, or did I get some things right in this theory? Only time will tell. I really like Giggleland because they are making one full game, and it won't be chapter-based. And if their ARG is any sign of the quality of their game, I think we can expect a great game experience. Anyways, guys, I hope you have an amazing day. I see.